Ahora sí, tell me un poquito más. Hola, I'm Kim.
And I'm Cindy Gaxiola.
Y este es nuestro podcast, Tell me un poquito más. Season 4, baby.
No puede faltar.
No puede faltar el Season 4. Y en el episodio de hoy, tomé café antesito, por eso creo que soy. En el episodio de hoy vamos a hablar sobre, bueno, mejor espérame. ¿Ustedes alguna vez se han hecho la pregunta, ¿qué estoy haciendo con mi vida? Have you guys ever asked the question, what the heck am I doing with my life? I have.
Am I supposed to
Have
answer?
you?
Yes.
Ustedes? But before I have, oh my gosh, we were literally just talking about this. We're going to talk about it in a little bit, but I know Cindy has a fun fact for us today.
Yes, I do have a very fun fact.
ver.
Did you know that Finland is considered the happiest country in the world?
Finland.
Finland.
Interesting.
And it's not the richest, nor is it one of the most popular tourist destinations.
I wonder why.
I know. We have to do our research. Maybe that's another
Let's
podcast.
move to Finland. Vámonos a Finland.
¿Qué, no estás feliz?
Boy, I'm not in the happiest country. Español.
Finlandia se dice en español, espero.
Finland.
¿Sabías que Finlandia? I think es Finlandia. No, we're not cutting. We're keeping it going.
I'm crying.
Let's move you to Finland.
I can't stop. Okay, just say Finland.
Finland. Voy a decir Finland, pero con un acento en español. Finland. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Okay. Ya lo busqué en Google y mi traducción estaba correcta. Finlandia. Párate de burlar de mí y de mi español.
No sé por qué me dio tanta risa. Yo creo que es como lo dijo Cindy. O sea, no sé.
Anyway, well, you just killed my fun. I guess it was really fun.
Okay. See, even the name makes you happy. Hasta el nombre te pone feliz. Okay,
Well,
¿cómo el dato?
That's my fun fact.
No,
Yeah.
sí, en español.
Pues ya lo dije. Dije Finlandia. Anyway.
Okay. Güey, pero ¿por qué lo hace lo dijiste? ¿Por qué lo hace el más feliz?
No, dije que tenemos que hacer nuestro research. Bueno, hay como que tienen un really low crime rate. No hay mucha poverty. En español. No hay mucha poverty.
El café nos hizo daño. Okay.
They have a really low crime rate. There's not a lot of poverty. And there's other reasons. But I think I need to dig further. And I'll have an answer soon.
Okay. Me encantó tu dato curioso. Cindy G.
Puedo ver, Kim. Tiene 2 horas riéndose.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Bueno, ya que nos reímos un poco, vámonos a la pregunta de what the heck am I doing with my life? Y ahora la pregunta, ¿qué estoy haciendo con mi vida? Yo siento que es una pregunta intensa. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Do you think that we all...
You look stressed.
I think I am. It's just an intense question. Like, do you feel like we all reach a point where we ask ourselves that, where we're just like, yo, what the heck?
What the heck? I think it's important for us to ask ourselves, what am I doing? What have I done? How far have I come? Where am I going? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I do think it's important for us to reflect. I think that's really important. But I know exactly what you mean, because we're not talking about that reflection. We're talking about when you reach a point where you're like, what the heck am I doing with my life? And it feels stressful and overwhelming to think about that, because you start to question everything.
Everything. That happened to me. Like, I'm 28 and I reached a point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? Like, what did I do? What didn't I do? And it's just like, it's I don't know. Yo tengo 28 años y yo creo que llegué como a ese punto donde estaba como de que, ¿qué estoy haciendo? ¿Qué hice? ¿Qué no hice? ¿Por qué no hice esto? ¿Por qué no hice el otro? Y, o sea, eso te ataca, man. No es healthy, no es bueno. Siento que es, como humano, te van a venir esos pensamientos, pero es importante no quedarte ahí. I think, like, human, you're going to have those thoughts, but it's important to not stay there.
I think you get into like a rabbit hole of questions, right? Like, what are some of the questions that came into your mind?
Why didn't I do this in the past? Why didn't I have this? I'm 28. Like, I'm trying to go to law school. Why didn't I do this right after college? Like stuff like that. That is just, why this? Why that? Why that? Why am I not here? Why am I not there? Me enfoco demasiado en el, o sea, ¿por qué no hice esto? ¿Por qué no hice el otro? Tal vez porque estoy tratando de ir a la escuela de leyes. Tal vez si saliendo right away de college, si hubiera hecho esto, ya tuviera mi título. O sea, tengo 28 años. O sea, para la hora que salga de law school voy a tener 30 y no sé qué. O sea, son como de esos pensamientos que es like, you know?
I could feel the stress.
Sí, pero no es bueno. Pero no sé. Pero mira, I think it's also... I don't know. Do you think it's an age thing? Because I was having this conversation with a friend as well, and we were conversating about that. How so many times we're just so caught up on, oh, why didn't I this? Oh, why didn't I that? And we're just so focused on, I want this, I want that, I should have done this, that we don't focus on how far we have came already.
I was just going to say, I don't know that it's so much like an age thing. I do think like transitioning from your 20s into like your 30s is probably you enter a different stage of your life where you do start to view things differently. But I don't. Like, I feel like you have that, you could have that at an earlier stage, at a later stage. Like, I know people in a later stage that start to question that. And like you said, I do think that it is normal. And you know what I think? I feel like sometimes it's the pressure that we put on ourselves based on like, I don't know, external factors. Creo que a veces puede ser normal hacernos esa pregunta y no hay una edad precisa. O sea, sí creo que hay como ciertas etapas que son transitional en nuestras vidas, pero esta pregunta nos puede venir a cualquier edad. O sea, en una edad más joven, o hay gente que yo conozco que ya están en otra etapa de su vida, que son mayores y que también se hacen esta pregunta. Y creo que muchas veces puede venir como de las presiones que nos ponemos a nosotros mismos y presiones exteriores.
Que de otras personas.
And I think because I go through that. I go through that a lot.
I know, I was about to ask, have you ever gone through like, what the heck am I doing?
I definitely think I am in a season of my life of that where I really reflect a lot and I start to question everything. Like, why do I do what I do? Like, I'll question, like, why do I work in the field of work that I work in? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? And it's definitely overwhelming. And one of the things that helps me kind of come back to not stay in that overwhelmed state is I think of purpose. Like, what is the is there an underlying purpose to the decisions that I'm making?
Yeah.
Sí es algo por lo cual yo paso, o sea, me cuestiono todo, por qué estoy trabajando en donde yo trabajo, por qué sirvo en la iglesia, por qué voy a o sea, de verdad que son pensamientos que cuando te vienen a la mente son muy overwhelming. Y creo que algo que me ayuda a no quedarme en eso es pensar en un propósito, o sea, no dejar... Yo escuché a alguien que decía, ay, es que no sé cómo se dice en español, lo voy a decir en inglés. I heard somebody say that we have an overall purpose, and the things that we are doing as we go along are our calling in that moment.
Ooh, okay.
And that gave me so much peace, because as long as I know what the purpose is of why, and again, that doesn't mean that every decision I make is made with,
it's part of your calling,
or is made with purpose. Like, we do make decisions that maybe take us away from it. Like, it's part of being human, it's part of learning, and it's part of growing. But that helped me a lot, and it's helping me. And I think one of the things that I try to work on now is intentionality, like being intentional in every area of my life. And again, it's not something that I've mastered. I'm like, why the heck am I like this in this area of my life? Why this? Why that? Because I want this. And it's a lot.
I know. I think it is a lot. Honestly, I think we don't have the answer like, oh, you know, do this so that you won't feel like that. I think we just wanted to have this conversation. I think it's we go through this. Like, it's okay if you're going through that, if you're going through that state of your mind, if you're going through that stage of your life, you're not the only one.
It's definitely something that has happened to us, that continues to happen to us, because again, we might look at people and feel like they have it all together. You don't know, like someone could look at your social media and be like, oh, her life is popping.
Right.
She got it all set. And
yeah.
It's like, no, you still go through that. We're still human. I think it's part of being human. And just like, let's not be so hard on ourselves.
I think not being hard on ourselves, honestly, when I went through that recently, I had to chill. Again, I don't have the answer yet. I'm still trying to figure a lot of areas of my life. But one thing that gives me complete peaceness is God. I talk to him. I'm just like, God, I don't know what's ahead, but you do. So please give me the peace. Give me the understanding, give me the vision, give me the direction that I need, because I know that he has a plan. He knows what's going to happen. I don't. Like right now, I don't see it, but I know in the long run, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, wow, I was so stressed. I was so overwhelmed for that, when it's like, God had it all planned. God had it all ready.
Yeah, he always does. And I think I don't want to take away from, like, we should evaluate why we do what we're doing. Like, are the decisions we're making leading us to who we want to be in life and what we ultimately want? I do think that that's important. No queremos quitarle a la importancia de pensar, o sea, las decisiones que estoy tomando ahora son para la persona que quiero ser en un futuro, para la persona que quiero ser ahora. No le queremos quitar la importancia a eso, y claro, gran parte depende del trabajo que nosotros hagamos para, o sea, nosotros tenemos que hacer nuestra parte y Dios hace el resto.
Claro,
we have to do, it's really important to remember that we have to do our part and God will take care of the rest. But that doesn't mean we're not going to work. That doesn't mean we're not going to move with intention. So it's overwhelming, because it's like finding that balance, because we do have to, it is important to move with intention.
I think that, and one thing that you told me and I was like, oh shoot. You asked me, you're like, what do you want? And I was like, oh shoot. Cindy me hizo la pregunta, ¿qué es lo que tú quieres? Y yo siento que ese es mi problema, que muchas de las veces estoy tan enfocada en, pero si hago esto, mis papás piensan esto, pero si hago el otro, y esto, pero he hecho esto, pero he hecho el otro, ¿qué tal si...? No me enfoco tanto en lo que yo quiero.
Y es como que, ¿realmente sabemos lo que queremos?
Siento que a veces sí sabemos, pero como que tal vez nos da miedo, como que tal vez...
Or I don't know that we always know what we want. Like, I think sometimes we can so easily give in to what other people say, the people around us, to what we see on social media, that we are carried by that and not by where we
yeah, we like see like, ooh, they're doing this, like what if I do that? That's true. Yeah, so I do think that's a huge one. I think that's a good starting point. Like, what do you want? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres?
And I don't want to, I have to, because you know, we are Christian. Like, I don't want the focus to be on like, what do I want? Like, always have conversations with God, because we should be led by God. But ultimately, like, who am I is an important question. Yes, what do I want? But of course, always trying to tie it for us on a personal level is like, who does God want me to be, and what does God want me to do?
Is what I'm doing aligning with what God wants me to do?
Which is hard.
As we're trying to figure out, as we're trying to get that answer, let's not focus so much. Let's not stress. Like, let's not worry. Let's not, I don't know, stay in that stress of mind. I think it's so important, and we've said it. But yes, it's definitely easier said than done. It's important to analyze, to reflect on everything that you've done, everything that you have accomplished. It's just unfortunately, a lot of the times we're more caught up on what I didn't do than focusing on what I did do, what I did accomplish, how far you've overcome. Siento que es importante de no quedarnos como en ese stress, como ese modo de estrés, porque desafortunadamente siento que muchas de las veces nos enfocamos tanto en lo que no hicimos, en lo que deberíamos de hacer y no nos
en lo que aún tenemos que hacer.
En lo que aún tenemos que hacer y no nos enfocamos en lo que hemos logrado, lo lejos que hemos llegado. Y sí, es mucho más fácil decirlo que hacerlo, pero yo no sé, yo siento que es importante to catch us, like, como, ¿cómo se dice catch us? Como
darte cuenta.
Darte cuenta. Y sí, reflexionar. Siento que cada una de nosotros definitivamente hay algo de lo que podemos estar orgullosas por lo que hemos logrado. I know that each and every one of us can be proud of all the things that we've able to accomplish until now.
Yes. And again, we don't want to take away, because I do think that this is really important. And these are recent reflections that I've had in the last couple of years of the intentionality. Like, let's make sure that we're not just moving to move, or, you know, there's a certain point where you should go with the flow, but like make sure that you're moving with intentionality, because you don't want to reach a point in your life where you look back and you're like, I wish at that age I would have done this, or I would have viewed things in that way. Okay. No le quiero de nuevo quitar la importancia al ser intencional, porque también creo que es muy importante el evaluar, o sea, no queremos llegar a cierta como, edad.
Nomás voy a hacer esto por ahorita por, like, go with the flow, pues.
Exacto, porque no quieres llegar como a cierta edad y después pensar, wow, hubiera hecho cuando tenía esa edad. O sea, ahorita están viendo este episodio, ahorita es importante reflexionar qué estoy haciendo con mi vida, y no de una manera que sea overwhelming o que se estrese, simplemente estoy siendo intencional, sentirse orgulloso de lo que hemos logrado, pero a cómo voy a seguir mi vida, quiero ser intencional. Y esto es terapia para nosotras, o sea, me estoy hablando a mí misma, porque todavía no sé que hay muchas áreas en mi vida en donde lo puedo y lo debo aplicar.
Yeah, 1000%. And I feel like another point is, don't get so caught up in having the answer right away. I know that I did. I was like, when Cindy asked me, like, what do you want? And the next day I was like, what do I want? Like, what? I didn't have like the specific answer. I was like, shouldn't I know? Like, why am I not getting the answer right now? Like, don't chill, like, relax, like, wait until, don't feel overwhelmed because you don't have the answer yet. No quedarse en, como me acuerdo cuando Cindy me hizo la pregunta de, like, ¿qué es lo que tú quieres? Como que yo quería la respuesta right away, quería de que el siguiente día como, ya debo de saber que quiero esto. No hay que enfocarnos tanto en por qué no tengo la respuesta ahorita, por qué esto, qué el otro. No, yo siento que es un proceso, y si trabajamos en esa área vamos a recibir esa respuesta.
La vamos a recibir.
Espero que sí.
Entonces, en conclusión, hay que mover. In conclusion, let's move with purpose.
Yeah.
Let's be intentional. Let's not let that thought of what the heck am I doing with my life overwhelm us, but let it be a way for us to reflect how far we've come and where we're going, and move with purpose and intentionality.
Yeah, motivate us to keep going.
Let's use it as a positive
thing. As a motivation. Just
make
a list. I did that. Let's make a list of everything that we have accomplished until this day. Yeah.
Wow, everything?
Well, not like
or just
big
things that we are proud of. Things.
You know what? I was actually reading a book about that recently. I'm not done with the book, but I thought that was such an important thing, where he makes you, it's like a whole ass book, but he makes you, in that chapter, he makes you write down one thing that you've proud of that you've accomplished. It's like just one thing. It doesn't have to be anything major. He's like, even like the day that you learn how to tie your shoe. And it's like, it's so true. I feel like we're so caught up in, or I could be so caught up in, I don't even have my business yet. Like, there's things that you have accomplished that you don't realize, but it's like, nah, dude, you have accomplished a lot. You have accomplished a lot.
What are you proud of, Kim? Aki, tell us right now.
You know what I wrote? I'll tell you guys what I wrote. I'm proud that we took the initiative of starting this podcast. That is what I wrote down, because that's what came to my mind. I'm like, I'm just so proud, because it's, I look back and I'm like, yeah, we have a podcast, but nah, like, that takes a lot of work, like a lot of work, like, you know, just the editing, the camera, everything. I love it. And it's just, when I wrote that down, I'm like, that's so true. I hadn't realized that, how happy, how proud I was of myself because of that.
Un aplauso.
¿Tú?
For me, one of the ones that always comes to mind is when I studied abroad in Italy. Oh my goodness, because I never knew anyone that had studied abroad. I was going to a country that I've never been to, where I don't speak a word of that language, completely by myself for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'm getting away from home, and I remember how I felt in that moment, and it was so scary, but I did it. So when I think back, I'm like, ooh, I'm so proud of myself for that, because to this day, it's to me, I feel like it's one of my greatest accomplishments. It opened my eyes to so many things. So I think that's one of them. That's one of them for me.
I love it. You see, so just think of that one thing, write it down.
Let us know in the comments, like, for real. We're going to hold you guys accountable. Let us know in the comments one thing that, I mean, I'm sure we all have a lot to be proud of, but what's one thing that you can share with us?
Yeah, exactly. I know that each and every one of you have something to be proud of. Let's not be so caught up on, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I could have done this. Like, again, we're human. It's probably going to come through our thoughts. It's definitely easier said than done, but there is something that you've done that you could be proud of. So acknowledge it, write it down, and just
celebrate it.
We're all in this together, man. Again, I really think that we're probably going to do another podcast, another episode, about this, where
what
it's
the
like,
heck am I doing with my life, part 2?
Yeah, because again, there's a lot that I'm still trying to figure out. Hay mucho de lo que todavía estoy tratando de averiguar, así que no creo que tuvimos como
So break it down. I think we should be like, what are you doing with your life right now? Like, I think we should share what stage of our life we're in. Like, right now, I could share that I am single, that I don't have any children.
Okay.
That I work in a management company, and in an artist management company. I go to church, a Christian church. I serve at church. I lead a life group, and I'm going to Bible college.
Look at that.
That's a lot. That's a whole other podcast. But that's just what the heck I'm doing with my life right now.
That's your question? Like, what the heck?
That's my answer.
Oh,
what's yours?
Okay. That's your answer. Right now, same. I'm single. I'm 28. I work at a law firm. I have this podcast, Tell Me Un Poquito Más, and I'm trying. My goal is to go to law school.
So we're going to do a part 2 at some point.
Yeah.
And
that's so true, because it's like, yeah, that's so true. It's like, this is where we're at right now. Again, I think it hit me because of my age, because it's just like all these questions.
We're a little stressed too, as you guys can tell.
Yeah, because of my age, because like there's all these questions like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go to law school? How am I going to pay? It's like, dude, I haven't even gone in yet. You know, I'm like overwhelmed like with all these thoughts. So yeah, I mean, I think the thoughts are going to come, but it's definitely another episode where we're like, okay, so this is kind of how because I don't think we're going to
come back to it.
We're going to come back to it. We're definitely going to come back to it. But again, I love this, man. I love having these topics. I just feel like we're just, I don't know, I'm like, we're FaceTiming them. We're like, yo, like.
We're in therapy.
Yeah,
this really
like
is
these are literally
therapeutic.
conversations that we have with our friends. So we're like, why not have an episode about it?
You guys are our friends.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys so much for being part of this with us. We appreciate all your love. Again, if you guys haven't yet, we are available on all podcast platforms. So if you can hit that button of subscribe. Also here on YouTube under Tell Me Un Poquito Más. And don't forget to like this video. Estamos disponibles en todas las plataformas de podcast bajo Tell Me Un Poquito Más y también en YouTube. Y
hasta el próximo episodio.
Bye.